Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Major Chip's Retro Radio Museum, where I take a look at radios, clock radios, pretty much anything that receives a radio signal. Here today is a Soundesign 3654 WHT. The WHT stands for white, which is the color this thing used to be until it aged. This thing was manufactured sometime in the 1990s from what I could find online, and I wanted to make a video about this, A, to make up for destroying a Soundesign radio with my friends in another channel, and B, because it has a very interesting feature. Now, before I show that feature off, let's just go over a few basic things. For one, this is the display. It has a nice LED display. No dimming control, oddly enough. It has a nice dial which actually has a little light on it for tuning ease and makes it look better. It has alarm functions it only has one single alarm, but it can have either waking up to radio or waking up to its built-in sort of buzzer noise that goes through the speaker. As you can imagine, on the side it has radio on, radio off, alarm radio, and alarm buzz, and the AM and FM switch. For FM reception, it has the standard little thin, flimsy wire that actually just sort of attaches down under here. If you look under here, you can see the model plate. Lighting isn't the greatest, but you will be able to read. Actually, you won't be able to read. You'll have to trust me on that. Also has a caution about this. Don't open it while it's plugged in. Actually has a 9-volt battery backup that goes in there. Surprisingly enough, when I bought this, it didn't have a battery in there already that was corroding it. That's surprising, because pretty much every other radio I pick up has that. People just never take those batteries out. One thing you might not be able to tell, actually you might be able to tell it, the FM band is on the bottom, AM's on the top. FM band's kind of difficult to see. I believe it's just sort of a... I don't know, it just doesn't mix well with those colors. As I said, it's yellowed over the years. It doesn't actually smell like cigarette smoke at all, so I'm guessing that that's just the bromine in the plastic that's sort of caused it to change color. Because you can see the color that it once was on the bottom. UL listed, of course, has this nasty thing down here, which I still have to clean off. I actually recently picked this up for all of $2 at a local thrift store. Now, there is one issue with these Soundesign things, is they use these little, not momentary contacts. It's essentially, the same sort of pad that's in remote controls. And what happens is over the years they get dirty, and they get corroded, and then the buttons don't work too well. So in order to set the alarm and everything, and in order to set the time, you kind of push this button and it doesn't work, or it goes too fast, or it needs to be cleaned, pretty much. As you can see here, snooze button, and one nice feature, alarm reset. So all you do is, after you've woken up, you can push that and it turns off the alarm and sets it to go on the next day. Sleep button to turn on the sleep timer, and there's something I want to show you about this. And this is something I've never seen before, and I think it's a very, very awesome feature. The sleep button glows. Why is that important? Well, every other clock I've seen has a sleep button, but you can't actually, put the sleep timer on in the dark. You can with this, because it glows. So you just push this down, And you just have to hold it down to count down how long you want to go. Yeah. Which is a pretty tedious little process. See the little light on the screen. And of course, if you want to just turn off the sleep, you push the snooze button on the right. And it all goes off. But that is one thing that I was very surprised to see on this clock, and ultimately the reason I bought it. As you might have been able to hear, the sound quality isn't perfect. It's sort of what you'd expect for a cheap Soundesign clock radio. I think I'm just going to do a quick sweep of the bands. Oh, let me point out, by the way, that the tuning knobs on top, volume controls on bottom. Oddly enough, all the way up is volume all the way down. Kind of opposite to what you'd expect. Or opposite to what I'm used to seeing in radios like this. So let's just take this tuning all the way over. And we'll just try tuning in the AM band. This is going to be nasty because one of the lights that I'm using to light this up is a compact fluorescent, so probably not going to get anything. But hey, we'll see.
Iraqi counterparts and with some of Iraq's political leaders.
Alright, so pretty much as you expect. I actually got more stations than I expected to pick up. So, you know. AM reception, even, you know, with no lights or anything interfering with it, not exactly great, as you'd expect.
I still remember that 40 years ago.
TV.
Ma'am.
Because now I...
Bring your bird. People will laugh. Much more than that. Okay.
As you might have been able to hear, the reception's actually pretty good for such a typical little small clock radio. Sound quality isn't bad, but it's kind of what you'd expect. And anyway, that's pretty much it. I haven't actually seen any pictures or anything of this model. I've only seen the black one. So I don't know if this one's, you know, particularly rare or anything. But I find that pretty interesting. Actually, I want to see what sort of bulb is doing that lighting. I'm assuming it's going to be just a little orange LED. But I've been wrong before. Let's take the front panel off and A, see how dirty the contacts are, and B, see what sort of bulb it is. I'm guessing LED. Alright, so all I need is my Phillips screwdriver. I will note, as you can tell, it's plugged in. I can't imagine the high voltage would be running anywhere close to the front panel, and it should be further back, but if not, I'm going to have to unplug it. I can't imagine the risk is very high of electrocution by this, as long as you're careful. Wouldn't recommend doing this at home, though. Oh yeah, look at that. Little front panel comes off. I'm going to have to give a full cleaning to this little radio, because it is due for one. As I suspected, it's a single little LED. And there are all the little button contacts, and yet they are quite grimy. And there's a little LED display. It's odd how they mounted it, because everything's sort of on an angle with this, because it's a very unusual shape. But the screen is held at a different angle, and it just sort of links in with how this cover is mounted. Yeah, you can see the very odd-looking clock. Very interesting design. As you can see, the tuning sort of string that keeps everything aligned, that moves with the tuning knob, runs all around down there. So actually getting this thing fully apart would be a complete chore. Because these things are horrible to have to restring, and you have to get them just right. I've had to do it before. Not fun. But yeah, just a simple little LED and a little LED display. Interesting. Very simple. Also not too bad. The little speaker's probably about a 2-inch, maybe 3-inch. 3 inches pushing. It's just that little corner there. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quick little look at this Soundesign clock radio. I thought it was interesting. Hopefully you'll think the same. Thank you for watching. Major Jip, signing out.